Hello and welcome to Manchester United, the D Unit's view. Look, unfortunately, I was meant to get on here a bit earlier. I have been away in Perth. I watched a game on Saturday night and I was a little bit drunk while watching it, and it's safe to say that it was one of them weird games where we were let down by really galling mistakes is what I want to put down to. I don't think there was anything particularly wrong with the system of play. Just individual errors in this game were what turned out to be exceptionally costly. And look, it's going to be a hard road. Let's be honest. Let's not beat around the bush here. Manchester United have a long, hard road ahead. And I don't even know where you start, is the honest answer. Because the fixtures, the soft start that Amorim, I would say, has had with the what should have been the easier fixtures has resulted in 2 wins, 2 draws. 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. It's about the same as what it was under Erik ten Hag, but I actually don't put that on Ruben Amorim. He's literally come in with no preseason, no style of trying to get his ideas across. He can barely train with them because they've got literally a game every 3.4 days, I think it is, something like that between now and halfway through January. Look, if I'm being brutally honest, I don't like losing football games, but the Carabao Cup is maybe something that United could do without. I'm not sure what kind of a team he'll put out for that against Tottenham, because obviously if we win that adds another 2 fixtures into the already jam-packed fixture list, and I don't think that's actually going to help with him trying to get his ideas across, get the style of play across. I'm not sure. Look, this game, again, there was a bunch of changes to the team that rolled up at Arsenal. Martinez came back in. Lenny Yoro made his first start, his home debut. He lasted 66 minutes. Ahmad came back in. Mainu came back in. Ugarte stayed, obviously. Diego Dalot was there. I can't remember if he played against Arsenal. I feel like he did. Bruno obviously went back into the inside 10 position. Garnacho came in, and Højlund retained his place. So look, again, there was a bunch of changes. I'm not sure how good changing it is, like 6 changes to the team every game week, but like a lot of the stats actually favoured United, and we'll start there. And I think that's something we can definitely see, a system, a style of play that's definitely developing, and the shape actually didn't look too bad. United had 71% possession in this game. 71% possession in this game. Like, Nottingham Forest only had it for 29% of the time, and yet somehow they scored 3 goals from their 11 shots. All Nottingham Forest's shots on target went in. And we'll get on to the goals in a second, because, like, look, there's no way Nottingham Forest should have scored 3 goals in this game. The XG of those 3 shots was pretty damn low. I'm not actually too sure what the XG was in the game in total, but it couldn't have been much, because other than the first goal where Martinez just sort of gets bullied off the ball, off the header. I mean, that's a 3rd goal off a set piece in 2 games. That's not good. It's something Amorim will have to definitely address on the training ground. Let's be honest. He just has to address it. We can't be giving away sloppy goals like that every time. Teams will just literally be looking for corners, thinking that they're a chance of scoring a goal. We can't be having that moving forward at all. Look, we had 17 shots to their 11, so we had enough shots. We created enough opportunities here to get, hopefully, we should have got something out of this game, judging from the stats alone. We had 7 shots on target to 3. We scored twice. It wasn't enough. Some of the substitutions as well didn't make the most sense to me either. So Ugarte went off for Xerxes, which was interesting, and Mason Mount, I feel like just, I don't know what the structure of the team in the last 15, 20 minutes, it just looked like we're just pouring bodies forward, hoping that something was going to happen. I don't know. I'm still a little unsure why we took Bruno Fernandes off in the 76th minute. That substitution in itself didn't make a hell of a lot of sense to me. And I was surprised that Mazraoui, who's arguably been our player of the season to this date, started on the bench and came on in the 66th minute. Like, look, he's played every game and started every game since Amorim's arrived. Maybe he thought he needed a rest in order to make sure he doesn't get injured. If that's the case, then fine. No problem. This is probably the last clear game they probably want to rest in. But yeah, look. Yeah, I mean, I watched the game, and obviously my vision was a little bit impaired, but United dominated the game. Like 528 completed passes to 158 suggests that we dominated the ball, which we did. 601 total passes to 242, so most of them were pretty accurate as well. We won 10-8. We won 10 tackles to 8. We lost the aerial duels 14 to 17, which is turning into a little bit of a theme. But yeah, look, I suppose the best place to start is what Ruben Amorim had to say about the game. So he couldn't hide his disappointment after Man United suffered the loss. And look, Storm Darragh paid havoc across the country. But yeah, so this is what he said. It was a really tough game. We started really badly. The first play, we suffered a goal. They scored in difficult moments for us, so it was difficult to pass on to the players the job we have to do. We controlled the game and created some chances, and then we tried to work something for the second half. When we suffer 2 goals like that, it's really hard in this context to help the players, to put some calm into the players. They try it until the end with not a lot of quality, more heart than quality, but we couldn't do it. Get another goal to gain at least a point. We improved, I think, the movement in the last third, especially in the beginning of the first half, but we lose the game and didn't have many situations to score. But we managed to have some combinations, especially if you see our first goal. We have to continue improving in some aspects. We have to win games to help us improve the team. And they obviously talked about conceding from corners, using 22 players since he took over, learning a lot. What needs improving? He said a lot. Every situation in the game, I can see what we can improve as a team. It's a bad thing, but also a good thing as we know what to do. Convinced we'll get it right? Of course we have to. I think everybody here has experienced ups and downs in football. You have to continue your job, doing the same things, being really convinced of your way. I'm really convinced of that. It's really hard to lose games. I know the public and the fans want to win. It's a long time without winning, without that feeling. We're in a long journey and we're going to do it. Victoria Pleasant up next. We have to think about the next game step by step going forward. Like I say, it's a long journey. Look, this next 2 weeks is unbelievably massive for Manchester United. They go away in the Europa League to Victoria Pleasant, and they really need to avoid having to make the playoff stage here. So we really need to go there and get a win and get ourselves into the top 8. We've then got Manchester City away in the derby. Like we have to, like the game, our away record, this is what I'm talking about, is just so bad that somehow it's got to change in the next week, because we've got Manchester City away, and then we've got Tottenham Hotspur away in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. So like that's 3 difficult away fixtures in a row against teams that arguably are going to give us some sort of level of difficulty. I think that's what I'm going with here. And then obviously we're at home for the next game that will be at Old Trafford for, and that's the home game against Bournemouth on Sunday the 22nd of December. Sorry, that should read Saturday the 21st of December. Or maybe that's changed. Has that changed? I think it's changed to a Sunday. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll have to double check that, but that potentially the day might have changed for that Bournemouth game, because I thought it was on a Saturday. I'm going there anyway regardless, so that's going to be good. But yeah, disappointing. And obviously I'm going to watch Man United against Newcastle as well. Look, we've got no easy games. Let's be honest. The Wolves game is probably the easiest fixture, and that's on Friday. Thursday. My God. It's because we're 8 hours in front. I'm trying to work this out, like looking at the fixture list. Like, I'll just share my screen so you can see what's going on. And yeah, you can see there. Like, they aren't easy fixtures coming up. And look, the results we've had, like, let's have a look at his first 5 games that we've had. So we had the 1-1 Ipswich draw, where in reality Ipswich were probably slightly unlucky not to actually grab the win there. We had the 3-2 come from behind Bodo Glimt game. That was, did we even come from behind that game? Yeah, we did. We came from behind in that game. I thought we did. I remember watching it. It's just been a long week. And then obviously we had the 4-0 thrashing of Everton, but the XG in that game was actually not that high. Then we lost to Arsenal after being pretty good for an hour and just being undone by a couple of set pieces. Arsenal weren't fantastic on the week against Fulham either, again relying on set pieces. And then we just had the shellacking, the embarrassing defeat that was Nottingham Forest against Manchester United. That was probably the hardest game to take, because I felt like we deserved to win that game. I felt like we deserved to win the game. Gary Neville and others were getting stuck into Ruben Amorim and others after the game as well. Like, I don't know what he's meant to do there. I mean, the first goal, yes, we need to get better at set pieces, and probably Martinez probably shouldn't be, I don't know. He just looked like he got bullied off the ball. The butcher got bullied by the plebs. The second goal was just Bruno Fernandes with a needless flick, putting to Lenny Yoro, and then they obviously win the ball back. They cut it back. And then Onana, what's he doing? Like, he can clearly see the ball. The ball is literally hit straight at him. The XG on that shot was like 0.03 or something stupid like that. Like 3 in 100 times that ball will go in, and it goes in. That was like the Andre Onana of 2023, 2024. Like, it was that bad of an error. And let's not get on to the last goal. Chris Wood just monstering Lenny Yoro at the back post. I didn't have, like, yes, he got up and won the ball, and, like, obviously Lenny Yoro's first game. And if you're a new defender for Manchester United and you don't have a harrowing first game, you're not a defender for Man United. Because it always happens. I remember when Nemanja Vidic and Patrice Evra away at Man City literally got hooked at half-time or soon after because of the fact that they just got absolutely torn apart. Sometimes your first proper game can be a little bit like that. So I'm not really blaming Lenny Yoro here or the decision to play him. This game, in theory, should have been a relatively easy game for him to come in. Then you just see Onana, Martinez, and De Ligt just looking at the ball like it just goes into the back of the net. It was just a hard. I still don't understand how we conceded these goals. Like Bruno Fernandes and Højlund, they got decent goals. Garnacho obviously forced the follow-up that Højlund obviously put away like a good striker for the first goal. And Bruno Fernandes, after good work from Ahmad again, Ahmad's done his he's done his chances no harm at all. He's been relatively good, all things considered, and moving forward, hopefully that's something that continues. Because look, let's be honest, it's going to be a difficult week. So look, there are a couple other things I want to share. So Manchester United women, though, on the other hand, have been doing really well. They enjoyed a thumping 4-0 win over Liverpool in the Women's Super League on a cold Sunday at Leigh Sports Village. So I'm not sure where that's taken them up to in the table, but the fact that they're scoring goals. So Dominique Janssen, Melvin Mallard, Turland, and Leah Galton got the goals there. And look, when you beat Liverpool 4-0 at home, that's exactly the kind of performance we want. I mean, if the men can go there and do anything other than get a loss in a couple of weeks at the start of January, then we're doing well. Let's be honest. But yeah, they've been really good. I'm not sure where that takes them up into the table. Let's have a look. Not sure. Didn't actually say. You would think it would say where they went on the table, but alas, it doesn't appear to say. There we go. All right. So I'm not sure what's going on there. So I obviously talked about Ruben Amorim's thing on the thing, but the thing I really want to talk about now is Dan Ashworth. Now, Jim Ratcliffe, it's actually really funny. Maybe that's why he raised the ticket prices that get on-sold back to supporters that get returned to the club to £66. So he can pay for what he's just done here. Because that's essentially the only money he's saving. And Dan Ashworth is, he's no longer at the club. He actually spent more time on gardening leave than he has at Manchester United. Can you believe that? Like, what is going on? Look, I understand, like, Ineos at Nice or whatever, the French club they've got in France, they're just making a meal of whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Look, the club statement, this is what it says. It says next to nothing, but Dan Ashworth will be leaving his role as sporting director of Manchester United by mutual agreement. We would like to thank Dan for his work and support during a transitional period for the club and wish him well for the future. Like, what? So let's have a look at it. So in February, the timeline of events, I'm actually going to pull this up and see if I can quickly show you the timeline of events of Dan Ashworth, because it's actually really funny. All right, so I'm just going to use the Sky Sports page here, and we're going to go to more. Okay, football. Yep, there we go. And let's have a look. They had an article on here, and it was just hilarious, really. All right, sorry, bear with me 1 second. Ashworth for leave Man United. Here we go. So, this is the timeline of events. Just quickly scroll down. February 2024. Manchester United approached Newcastle for sporting director Dan Ashworth as the Magpies placed him on gardening leave. So Jim Ratcliffe publicly calls Ashworth one of the best sporting directors in the world and calls Newcastle's negotiation over the transfer chief's move absurd. All right. May 2024. It is revealed that Ashworth and United chief executive Omar Barada engaged in email conversations about moving to Man United. While they were still employed by other Premier League clubs, competition rules state that clubs and directors should behave towards each other with the utmost good faith. July 2024, Manchester United finally appoint Ashworth on July the 1st, 5 months after their initial approach was revealed. Newcastle wanted to hold out for $20 million in compensation, but a compromise was met with United. August 2024, the first summer transfer window of Ashworth's input comes to a close, with United spending over $200 million on new players and bringing in over $110 million in sales. September 2024, after Man United had beaten 3-0 by Liverpool, Ashworth and Barada revealed they had no input in the decision to keep Erik ten Hag over the summer. However, Ashworth says he has really enjoyed working with the Dutchman. October 2024, Erik ten Hag is sacked by Manchester United after a 2-1 defeat to West Ham, leaves them 14th in the Premier League. November 2024, Man United appoint Ruben Amorim as Ten Hag's successor, with Barada the key figure involved in the talks of Sporting over the Portuguese manager's move. United spent an extra €1 million, £840,000, over his $10 million, $8.37 million exit clause to secure Amorim early. December 2024, Ashworth leaves United after a 3-2 defeat to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Make of that what you will, but basically what that tells me is that Jim Ratcliffe either thinks that Dan Ashworth is not up to scratch. And look, the Sky Sports article here basically says that, Jim Ratcliffe doesn't seem to be happy with him for whatever reason. We're not sure. Maybe he's a bit quiet in comparison to Omar Barada. Maybe there's too many cooks in the kitchen and they can't work out what direction they want to go in. And maybe Dan Ashworth's the one that isn't along with the plan. Look, there's all sorts of innuendo and people out there, the media going wild over this, basically saying that United is still a really poorly run club. Like, this has come literally from left field. No one actually knew that this was happening until it got announced yesterday, and all of a sudden I was like, what? Where was that been? Normally this kind of stuff gets leaked to the media. But there you go. He's gone. Ineos have parted way with him. He, not even 1st of July, and we're in December the 8th when it broke. That's mad. That's less than 5 months. It's actually ridiculous. Like, what? Like, apparently we bought... this is all the kind of things that's getting thrown around. Apparently we bought Matthias de Ligt to appease Ten Hag, who we kept in the summer. And then the other 4 players were identified by Dan Ashworth and the team, and that's why they were signed. I mean, if we have a look at the other 4 signings, Linear, it's way too early to guess, but he did come with a massive reputation, and we'll just have to wait and see. He is that young that we're not going to know for a couple of years, probably, until whether that signing was a really good one or whether it wasn't. Manuel Ugarte, still trying to get into the team, but he has played for Ruben Amorim before, which makes you think that he's probably going to be a success. But for the price that we paid, considering the PSG literally bought a player to play in his position before they sold him to us, makes me think that we probably overpaid for him. Like, realistically speaking, they would have just kept him around to play on the bench, would be my line of thinking. And then, obviously, we bought in Joshua Zirkzee, and let's be honest, he has not said the world a lot. I know he scored twice against Everton in the 4-0 win, but other than that, he's literally looked like a player that's not capable of playing in the Premier League, and he dropped back to the bench for the Arsenal game and also for the Nottingham Forest game, which makes me think that Ruben Amorim may not like him. And then obviously we have Mazraoui, who ironically has probably been the best signing and cost the least out of a lot of them. And maybe, yeah, it's interesting to know, like, apparently our data analysis, however you want to say it, has been poor and miles behind, and apparently that's something that Jim Ratcliffe wants sorted out. Now, I don't know what Dan Ashworth could possibly have done for that in the time that he's been there. Like, I do not physically understand what he could have done to fix that. But it's interesting. This is the bloke that was announced as best in class by Ineos, by Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself, and it's literally lasted 5 months. That bit doesn't get me. And this all happens amid mass redundancies and the hiking of ticket prices. It's not going to be long before Jim Ratcliffe is probably seen as poorly as the Glazers. Because this is something... Not even the Glazers would have done this, I don't think. This is definitely Jim Ratcliffe just being absolutely ruthless, not liking what he's seeing, and just getting rid. unless there's an underlying reason that we're not privy to, like some personal health or something. But I would imagine that they would have said that if that was actually the case. I would imagine that there is disagreements, and they think that, yeah. I mean, the telling thing is that Omar Barada was the one that really made the pitch to Ruben Amorim, where you would have thought the sporting director, who is Dan Ashworth, would have been the one to do it. That's the bit that doesn't make much sense. There's a lot to read and sift through here. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so it's been a manic 10 months. Most of it's spent on gardening leave at Newcastle rather than doing anything for Manchester United. His lasting legacy might be the fact that he sold those players in the summer and actually got us some money to help comply with PSR. But like, other than that, I don't know what else he's actually done, like that he's been able to do in the short time he's been there. Maybe it is just the fact that they're not happy with the recruitment. Maybe Christopher Vell is going to be taking over that role. Yeah. Apparently Barada, Wilcox and Vavell have been applying themselves better, but yeah, it's an exceptionally ruthless decision. It's going to be interesting to see that this ruthless with the players moving forward, like in the summer. Is it a fact that maybe Ruben Amorim came in, because there's other rumours as well that apparently Dan Ashworth wanted Gareth Southgate, and that was never a play. And maybe he didn't get along with Ruben Amorim. Maybe Ruben Amorim's basically turned around and say, we need a boatload of players. Which, let's be honest, I think it's pretty clear to everyone at the moment. Other than potentially a lot of the good youth players coming up, United are miles behind the top 4, top 6, maybe even the top 8 other Premier League clubs that are run so much better. I think if Amorim had come in the summer, I don't think we'd be in the position we're in now, where we're 13th in the league. I think that if he'd had the summer to actually coach the team and instill what needs to be done in games at the start of the season, we'd probably be in a lot better position, and we maybe might be challenging for the top 4. But because we're not, this season is fast becoming a massive write-off. Let's be honest. There's no sugarcoating it. And Ruben Amorim talked about a storm coming post the Arsenal game. And there's definitely a storm coming. The fixtures coming up, as we talked about before, are not easy fixtures. 3 difficult away games in a row before the Bournemouth game at home. I don't know how we're going to go, is the honest answer. I can only hope that we continue to see... The good news is that we are seeing the system that Ruben Amorim wants to play. We are seeing that formation. We're seeing the way that we... And in fairness, we've had a lot of the ball in these games. We just need to be able to... Unfortunately, our conversion and our finishing has been poor for a long time. I don't know how he's going to be able to fix that quickly. We do need a clinical striker, that is for sure. And maybe more clinical players when it comes to the final balls and stuff as well. So look, there is plenty to work on. I don't actually know what the answer is. But I tell you what, the club just seems to be lurching from one disaster to another. Like, when will it actually end? When will we actually get to see Manchester United free of problems, not getting in the news for dumb decisions and whatever? Like, yeah. I think when we look back at the summer window now, we have to say that it actually wasn't that flash. Like, like the players have bought in they haven't actually really improved the team at all. And I think that's the galling error. And maybe that's why Dan Ashworth has fallen on his sword. Or maybe the fact that he sees it differently. Maybe he thinks that Amorim just needs to work with the players that he's bought. But sometimes when there's not an alignment, someone goes. And, well, Ruben Amorim's just come in. Erik ten Hag's left, so there's no way they're going to be sacking Ruben Amorim after 5 games. So maybe that's the person that's paid the price, is Dan Ashworth. Look, it will come out in the fullness of time, and we'll look back at the decision and go, all right, well, that made sense, or it was another disaster class from Ineos. It's going to be one or the other. This could be the tide of the turning. A lot of unpopular decisions happening, ticket prices increasing, people getting made redundant, and then money just literally just being pilfered, squandered away. Like, I know we're not paying the Glazers any dividends or whatever for, I think, the next 2 years or whatever, but we're pretty much pissing away the money that we're meant to be sending them on just getting appointments wrong. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you're following along on audio on Spotify, please share this with your friends. Rate the show 5 stars. That definitely helps and hopefully grow the thing. And yeah, I'll be back. I'll be watching the game on Thursday night. Hopefully it's a win. look, all we can hope is that Ruben Amorim just continues to instill his ideas in training and we eventually see some sort of a turnaround. We're going to need some players. That in itself is 100% evident. So look, hopefully it starts sooner rather than later. But that's been Manchester United, the D in its view. I'll join you after the Victor Plizen game on Thursday night.